GMA cover story, the American Cancer Society has just released its annual report this year, finding higher rates among women and younger adults for certain types of cancer. ACS Chief Scientific Officer Dr. William Dahut is here for an exclusive breakdown of the report. Good to have you back.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. Yeah.
So tell us about this year's report.
Well, let's start with some good news. We see a 34% decrease in cancer mortality since the high water mark in 1991. That's over 4.5 million cancer deaths averted, which is really great news.
Yeah.
Largely due to decreased smoking, decreased tobacco use, early detection, and also some new drugs. You know, we see much better outcomes in melanoma and some kind of lung cancers.
But then there's another study, a headline doctor said the cancer diagnosis in women in certain types of cancer has surpassed the men. So what are we seeing there?
Yeah, so this is really an important change, and it comes around for a couple reasons. So I think the striking information, for the first time, if you're a woman under the age of 65, you're more likely to have a cancer diagnosis than a man. And it's twofold. One, we're seeing some increased risk of cancer, and breast cancer and thyroid cancer. But what's really sort of striking is, for the first time under the age of 65, lung cancer is now more likely to develop lung cancer in women than in men. This is really a sea change over time.
Sure is. What are the other notable trends?
We're seeing some things that I think are really important. One thing is we're seeing really a change in the age of diagnosis. We're seeing a shift from cancer over the age of 65, which is still the greatest risk factor, to between ages 50 and 64, and really an increase in incidence rate of people under the age of 50. We're also seeing some concerning continued trends as far as cancer disparities. If you're a Native American, you're much more likely to have die from multiple cancers, such as kidney cancer, lung cancer, as well as stomach cancer. And disparities persist in breast cancer, where black women are more likely to die from disease, although white women are more likely to be diagnosed, and greater deaths in endometrial cancer, particularly.
Oh, I know, and I've heard this, since I was diagnosed. So it's like, oh, as a black woman, you're less likely to be diagnosed, but more likely to die if you do. And you get this information, and you don't know what to do with it. What can folks do? What can folks do hearing this report?
So I think there are two things to think about. One, first of all, I think it's really important to know your own cancer risk. We've seen a lot of increased cancer in young folks, and many of those cancer are really linked to cancer genetics and family history. We don't really talk about family history of cancer. It's, I think if you knew that your first cousin or your aunt, what kind of cancer they had, you might want to be screened differently. And ultimately, we want screening to be very precision-based and personalized. And then there are activities we know about. Over 50% of cancers are actually preventable cancer deaths. Tobacco is half of that. So you can't smoke. And only 5% of high school kids are smoking, but 25% are vaping. So we have to watch that. And then things you do for your heart when you're riding your bike or eating well actually can prevent cancer. Get the vaccination to prevent cancer, and particularly if you have high cancer risk, really moderate your alcohol use.
Is there any other message that you have for the public?
So I think overall, we've seen these great progress in pediatric cancer. And it's really been done because cancer centers and docs have gotten together to get people involved in clinical trials. Leukemia was really almost a death sentence for kids back in the 70s. And we've really decreased the cancer mortality by over 70% for people on clinical trials. So get involved in clinical trials. We have a clinical trial, a study right now going on, enrolling black women. It's called the VOICES study. And if you look at voices.cancer.org, it's really important to look at the factors that are driving cancer risk to understand why we see these horrible disparities persist.
So there's something we can do.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks so much for letting me on today.
All right.
All right. Welcome, everybody. If I can get myself on screen. Welcome to Shoulda Tea Tuesdays. How are you this cancer? Oh, hold on. Let me start this on. Thank you for talking about red dye, because we need to talk. That's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, hey everybody. I hope that you are having a wonderful Tuesday. Some of us are preparing for this bitter cold. Some of us are trying to figure out what temperature, what season that we're in. But before we get started, I'm gonna go ahead and pour up this little nice. Well, that didn't turn out too well. I'm gonna pour up this little nice glass of tea that I was trying to pour up. Listen, it's been one of those days. It has been. don't know about you, but it's been one of them days where I'm just like, is it Monday? It's Tuesday. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. It's Tuesday. So why are you thinking it's Monday? 'Cause it feels like a Monday. I gotta shake up my tea. It feels like a Monday. Anyway, so this is my cranberry ginger. You can see my cranberry ginger black tea lemonade. I'm gonna go ahead and crack her open, and I'm gonna pour her over a nice glass of ice. Usually I don't even do it like that, but I am today. So we're gonna pour up some tea. Isn't that quite refreshing? It is. Have you not tried my tea? I'm sorry if you haven't, but it's okay. One day you will. No worries. We always have to take a sip of tea because sometimes you just need to rehydrate yourself. Mhm. Mm, That's marvelous. Marvelous, marvelous. So, anyways, today is a cancer care series. I started off with the American Cancer report that was recently released last week. And that was a video segment from Good Morning America. And yes, I did give credit to that. So please do not try to sue me or anything like that. But just to kind of reshare that information, because it's only 4 minutes that he kind of went through a variety of things that has been updated with the reports that has come out. And they come out with this report every year. And what it does is it prepares you for the current year of what we're expecting, how many people we're anticipating to unfortunately be diagnosed with cancer. And there's cancer in different segments, so it's not just focused on a certain type of cancer, but all of them. And so you can go and download that report. You can go and take a look at it. It's 48 pages long. So it might be quite lengthy for you to just kind of browse through. But one thing that you can do is focus on your state. So there are like 3 major states that have extremely high rates of people being diagnosed with cancer and people dying from cancer. But I want you to take a look at that and just kind of see, where does your state fall in. I'm always focused on 2 states because I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, so I focus on Tennessee, but I also focus on Oklahoma because I've been here forever. And that's also the population that I serve when I'm going out to talk to people about cancer prevention and impact and everything. And so 26,000 people in the state of Oklahoma are projected to be diagnosed with cancer. Or what? Well, hold on. Let me go back and look. Let me think. I'm trying to make sure I've got this right. Hold on. Hold on one second. Let me get a little close so I can see. Okay, yeah. Yes. Okay. So this is for the new cases as of 2025. So 26,000 people for the state of Oklahoma, and then they also have a projected number of people who have or will pass away from cancer. And so I just want you to take a moment to just look at that and absorb this information. Don't get it to the point to where you become depressed, but to the point to where you become empowered and be like, what can I do? What can I do that may be able to help somebody in my state or in my city or in my neighborhood, or you can even make it a little smaller, in my family, right? There's so many things that you can do. And so I want you to take that opportunity to go and review that cancer report that is out. One thing that they also shared recently is that now the survival rate, we talk about 5. It's the reason that a lot of cancer thrivers and fighters are focused on the number 5, because if the goal is, if you make it to 5 years, then I have a lesser chance of a recurrence, or my survivor rate increases, which it does. But it also determines off the your stage level. There's different stages of cancer based on what type of cancer that you may have. And sometimes the later stages, their survival rates numbers or percentages are a lot lower. And so we have to focus on, even if I'm diagnosed with cancer, okay, how do I beat this? How do I survive? How do I continue to stay on top of my labs and my exams and scans, and what do I need to do? And one thing that he mentioned, if you caught the first of the segment, is to pay attention to your family history. If you have a family history of cancer, if your grandmother or mother was diagnosed with cancer and she has daughters and children, have they been tested, or and have are they diagnosed with cancer? And so it ends up looking, well, if half of the children have some type of cancer, whether it's breast, prostate, it's all different kinds of, well, I know you don't get prostate for women, but I'm just saying, um pancreatic, it could be any type of cancer. But if you end up having that type of cancer, what does that mean for my offspring? And so I know that a lot of people cannot afford genetic testing. I understand that. And I also know that a lot of people do not have uh insurance that can cover the cost of that as well. So the best thing that you can do is to advocate and say, hey, my family history is this. I'm a little bit concerned and I want to be proactive on what's going on, and so I can be able to have a better survivor rate of what may or may not even happen. Now I know that it may be a small group, but to me it seemed like a large group. A large group of people that be like, oh, I don't want to know. Mm-mm, I don't want to know. Out of sight, out of mind. No, that's not true. Mm-mm. Take a sip. That's not true. You know why that's not true? Because when something happens, your body is already giving you signals. Your body is already doing things that's letting you know that something is happening. Hey, this is not right. Hey, hi, you need to go to the doctor. Hi. That's what my body does. It's like, hi. All these different warning signs that your body is doing. And so the longer that you avoid those signs and ignore those signs, then you're looking at a greater chance of what your stage could possibly be. And I'm not saying that everything is always related to cancer, but it's best for you to go and get checked out. Go and get checked out. Yeah, I know you're nervous. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, I don't feel like going through that. Because then if it's that, then that means, how am I going to pay for this? I got these kids to raise. I got a husband to do this. I got a wife I got to take care of. I got a girlfriend. I know you're thinking of all these different things. But just imagine, and this is going to be brutal, but just imagine if your lifespan is shortened because you didn't take that time to go and check yourself out to see what's going on. There's a lot of people that are going to sleep and they are not waking up the next day, or they're being placed on hospice because something is terminal, or um, there's nothing else that they can do, and they've exhausted all types of clinical trials and all this other things, and there's nothing else left. So when I tell you to imagine this, I'm not trying to be uh I'm not trying to be insensitive. It's just more so I just want you to think about the future of your life. You have children, you have parents, you have spouse, partners, whatever that you have. And I really feel that you want to be there for the long haul for them. That's what I feel. I know I can't speak for you because I don't know you from, how they say, from Tom, Dick, and Harry, but I just want to encourage you just to go and take care of yourself and just say, hey, I need to go get this checked out. Even something as simple as skin cancer. I follow Good Morning America a lot, and so Sam Champion had skin cancer, and I think it was by his eye or somewhere on his face. And he just mentioned, like, hey, it was just there, and I just noticed that it never went away, and I just thought maybe it was a mole, or maybe it was just some sun you know changes, or being out in the sun too much. And when he actually went to the doctor, come to find out it was a type of cancer. So you'll be surprised at when you actually take the time to just go and get checked out. Because right now, medicine is twice as much as advanced as it was a long time ago. So that's my little spiel on that. That's my little spiel. So make sure you go and look at the report from the American Cancer Society. I do also want to say that they have a program called um, HEA, which is Health Equity Ambassador Program. And so what it does is it addresses the unequal burden of cancer in diverse communities. So as you mentioned, he was talking about Native Americans, Latinos, African Americans, anyone that's of a uh different culture of the minority. A lot of times they are faced with a lot of health disparities in regards to cancer and not being diagnosed or not being taken seriously when something is um, going on. So their program mission is to address cancer disparities by developing capacity to educate, mobilize, and engage diverse communities in cancer risk reduction. And so they have a nice program. I was able to join that program through my sorority, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and so just kind of learning a little bit more about what HEE does, HEA does, and being able to educate more people about what all the risks are of the different types of cancers. And so I do encourage you, if that's something that you want to get involved in, you can go to their website. You can go to cancer.org, which is American Cancer's website, and you can type in Health Equity Ambassador, and it will pull up information there. And then you can start advocating in your own state. So there are different things that you can do. That's another one that I'm just kind of sharing with you of something that you can um, pull forward so that way you can educate people in your church. You can educate people at your job. If you're in an organization, if you do extracurricular activities with your kids, like the Palm Squad or um, the soccer team, or I mean, whatever football team, whatever that you guys may do, you can take that little 10 minutes and just say, hey, this is what I want to educate you on. Because this month is cervical cancer awareness month. And so we have to make sure that we are educating people about that type of cancer and all the symptoms and things that's going on with cervical cancer. So go and explore American Cancer Society website. Look into the Health Equity Program, HEA program, and get more information. And even sign up if you want to. That would be amazing. Another one that he mentioned, and I want to say is through. Uh, I want to say is through ACS, but I feel like I may be wrong, but I think I am, or I may be right. Yes. All right. Yes. Okay, good. So another one that he mentioned is the Voices of Black Women. The Voices of Black Women. They have been pushing this for the last, I want to say almost 2 years. I learned about it through Stevenson Cancer Center, and they have encouraged people to sign up where they're looking for voices of Black women. Hello, hello, any Black women out there? Yes, we're talking to you. And so they would like for you to fill out this survey 2 times a year. They get information to get an understanding of Black women and the risk of developing cancer and other health conditions. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to do this. What is it? Why do I have to participate? And why do they need blood and all this other things? And so let me take a point of privilege real quick. Because and I'm speaking to my African American people right now while I'm scratching my head because they probably know what I'm about to say. I already know we don't want to do research, and I know why. Yes, I understand what happened with Tuskegee, and I know the history behind that. Also, the history of how certain medicines were created, um, uh, how certain medicines were created off of us and our backgrounds and all that. So I understand all that. I do. But I also want you to understand is that we are dying at an alarming rate. So at what point do we start to advocate for ourselves? So if I have a large family history of um cancer or any type of health concerns, wouldn't you want to know, well, why is that? Does that go all the way back to my great grandma or on my mom's side or my dad's side? Why is this? And then I want to have children. So this is going to be passed down genetic? Is it hereditary? I mean, you feel where I'm going with this? And so then it's like, well, I go to the doctor, but they don't help me. I go to the doctor, but they don't give me what I need. You know why it's a struggle for them to give you what you need? Because they barely have any resource or research on us in regards to, and I can mainly speak to cancer. In regards to cancer, we don't actively participate in like clinical trials. Um, and I know there's several different reasons, and I get it. But I also know that someone, I don't know who it was, and I shouldn't say someone, somebody, because it wasn't just one person, but somebody tried a carbo and taxol combination for ovarian cancer. And that combination seemed to work on decreasing the cancer cells and preventing it from multiplying and all this other stuff, and gave you a better survival rate. And so with that being said, I end up becoming a product of taking that medicine. And here I am going on almost 7 years and I'm still cancer free. So when I got a chance to explore a laboratory of a pharmaceutical company and seeing these researchers in here creating medicine and trying to figure out how do we make this medicine to where it will help a certain individual, that is so impactful. It's almost emotional to where it makes you want to cry, because I may not be alive by the time that medicine comes out, but by the time they get it and figured it out the right way, it's going to help save lives. So I say all that with, they need us. They need our input. They need our voice. They need us to participate. Participate. So with that being said, because I can get on the soapbox. Voices of Black women. I encourage you to go put it in Google if it applies to you, because there are certain restrictions with it. I believe you cannot be a person that has been diagnosed with any type of cancer. At first, I thought it was just breast cancer, but I think it's any type of cancer. So they're looking for women that do not have cancer. Black women, hello, that's you. Okay, I'll be quiet. Anyway, so I want you to go and check that out. That's on American Cancer Society as well. And just to kind of get more information and share that with people. The more we share, the better we can have a survival rate. The lavender color is of survivorship. We guys have talked about that before. So I want to give you two resources, and then I'm gonna cut it down because I haven't had dinner and I'm starting to blink twice. Um, but first of all, I'm gonna say that one for last. So let me. I'll go back to that one. But anyways, I want to tell you about this resource. It's called Cancer Today. It's a magazine, and it's a pretty cool magazine with all different types of information in there, and a lot of it is more so like medical reports, things that are coming out, res res good research. I can't get my words. See, I need another sympathy. See, yes. Yes. Yeah, and you had to smack your lips when you get through. Anyways, it talks about eating healthy, improving our health, trying to change up some things, dancing the neuropathy away, because that is definitely something that will happen when you go through treatments and all of those different things. Rethinking brain metastasize, and so just it's a lot of stuff that's in this magazine. So you should definitely sign up. They even got financial resources for young adults. You know, if you're going through cancer and you need some resources on what to do or to pay for some things, you'll be surprised. There are some things out there. You even have a message from the doctor caring for the whole person. Because that's important to have a nice bedside manner when you are going through things. So one thing that's in here says, can I receive Social Security disability insurance while I cannot work doing treatment? Hmm. So does that count as a dis disability? You know, because sometimes you're not able to work while you're going through treatment, depending on what type of job you're doing. Or should I see a cardiologist doing or after cancer treatments? So there's different things that's in here. So this is a good book, good magazine. I said book, but good magazine for you to definitely go and check out. This is through the American Association for Cancer Research. So a lot of stuff is in here is medical and all that. So you need to definitely check it out. Now, last thing that I want to tell you about, and I think I've already told majority of you, I don't remember, but um I am the Brighter Magazine ambassador for 2026. And so I've talked about Brighter before and where I've met some wonderful people. And before I go into, let me see if her face is on. Let's see. Yes. So before I go into Brighter, I do want to take a moment of pause for our Teal sister, Ellie Simone Scott. She recently passed away, and yeah, it's been a I don't even know how to explain it, but just continue to pray for everybody, pray for her family, um, and everyone that's involved and connected to her. There's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful young lady that I actually met at a ovarian cancer retreat in Dallas, Texas. And so I had the opportunity to speak with her, and of course she's a member of the Divine Nine, and so we always cut up with each other, of course. But she was selling her book and talking about boards. Of course, now you know everybody calls them grazing boards or charcuterie boards or however that you want to call them. But she was just talking about how you can just get in the kitchen and just make a variety of things. And so I love this book, and I take different ideas from here. So, but we want to just pay respect to Miss Scott, you know, and can keep her legacy alive. There's not just, I mean, yeah. Anyway, just keep her legacy alive. But Brighter Magazine is a magazine for women affected by cancer. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was on the cover of, I don't remember which issue, but it comes out 4 times a year. So the first one just came out, just arrived not too long ago. Woo-hoo, yay. So we're gonna get to explore this and see what all are the goodies in here. One thing that was brought to my attention, and we're gonna talk about this. It may not be on the podcast, but I'll try to bring it up if I remember for sure the next time. Um, hey, Meredith. Yay! I met her. Sorry. Okay, I want to tell you about the one that stood out to me. I'm trying to get to this right here. Y'all better be happy I ain't had a hot flash yet. This one right here, Cold Truths. Mm, yes. Hot flashes are deadly. Let me tell you. I have on long sleeves, and that's because I was outside today. But I don't usually wear long sleeves because, child, I get hot, hot. And a lot of times, especially when I get really, really, really emotional, invested in something, it's like flame on, like I'm about to say Channel 4. What's the name of the movie? Fantastic Four. Yes. It's like flame on with Fantastic Four. And I can't necessarily just turn it off. And so a lot of women that are going through menopause for other several reasons, we can definitely relate. And so with hot flashes, they're not for the weak, but this is a great read. I want to because when I opened it, it flopped right on that page, and I was like, "Oh, we gotta talk about that." But anyways, Brighter magazine. Go to Brighter. If you go put it in Uncle Google, it will pull it up for you, and you can subscribe to the magazine. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about Brighter magazine throughout the whole, well, a variety of times throughout 2026 and just kind of educate you a little bit more on what's going on. I do want to say kudos to, and I probably shouldn't do this, but you know what? They probably wouldn't even know. Do you think they would know? They probably wouldn't know. Would they know? No, maybe they wouldn't know. I'm gonna do it anyway. Let's do it like this because I don't know if I should put them on blast on social media, but I appreciate all of my supporters because I did start a fundraiser page for Brighter for our ambassador program. My goal is to raise $1,000 for 2026. And so I sent it out to a few of my family and friends, and several of them have already donated. So I want to say thank you to Alexis. Thank you to Phyllis. Thank you to DC. And thank you to Bonnie. I appreciate you guys making a donation and contributing to the ambassador program. And we're going to continue to support them, not just for 2026, but as long as I shall live. So I will make sure that I send this out because I know you're probably like, well, how can we contribute? You can definitely contribute. You can contribute however you like, or if you just want to join in on the fundraiser, you're able to do that as well. So I think I have probably talked enough. Take another sip of my tea. This is black tea cranberry ginger lemonade, and ever since I made that over a year ago, I'm really addicted to that one. That's my favorite. And every once in a while, I go to my Blackberry. But I want to say thank you for tuning in to Share the Tea Tuesdays Cancer Care Series. My goal is to always focus on the third Tuesday of the month for cancer care to talk about cancer resources, cancer tips, things that we can do to better help ourselves throughout this journey, resources, if you want to come on and share your story, whatever that it may be. There's a variety of things that we can do with Cancer Care Series, and even probably bring back Valerie Louise with Stevenson Cancer Center, and she can share some tips with us as well. So I encourage you to be insightful, be intentional. I know that was first, right? Be intentional, be insightful, and definitely be impactful in everything that you do. I appreciate you joining us on Share the Tea Tuesday. Don't forget to follow me at Share the Tea with V because we share the tea. We don't spill it. All right, be blessed. Until next time. Bye.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
It really kicked off when the grocery store closed on 23rd and MLK on the east side. That's when I started to understand more about the business of food and grocery. There was an access gap because there was a communication gap. This came from my own experiences with not having food. I realized that what they were asking for is not what people in leadership were delivering. We have a very particular passion to make sure we bypass all the bureaucracy and get this food directly into neighbors.
The greens were much cleaner than you get in the store. Kind of resonant of what it used to be when I was growing up.
Starts with understanding that what we're creating here is because we believe what we can do.
This is a model. This is a template that can be replicated and recreated nationwide.